I'm going to show you now how to make a soft slab pot with a texture from the texture mat. These flexible rubber mats with the texture, they're the texture mats. And for this one, it's going to be a little more organic, less rigid, not so much measuring, a little more freeform. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the bottom. So the bottom, just roll out a slab of clay, and then what I'd like you to do is cut it oval. So we have already done a square, we've done a circle. So this one, like I said, you don't really need to measure it or anything, just kind of free form it and cut yourself an oval, all right? We'd be working on a board too, so I don't have one here now, but then you would place this on paper on a board. Your next part of the assignment is to roll out a long, wide-ish slab, and the width here is going to be how tall your pot is. We're going to be building this up on end like this around the oval, kind of like a big flat coil, one big flat coil. And however tall you want it is how wide it's initially going to be. And you can do a few things here. I mean, the bottom should be cut flat, and to do that, you know, you could take a ruler, or you could, again, like I said, just sort of free form it. But what you do with the top is up to you. You could leave this sort of rough edge, or also you could measure up from the bottom and cut it even, or even just freehand cut it. That's fine too. But you'll see why the bottom here should be flat. So what I want you to do is find the texture mat. I'm going to ask that you put texture over everything. And then you can either put the texture mat under and press it, or put the texture on top and press it. You could also get a roller and roll it. Now, the thing is if you roll it, it's going to bunch up a little bit, so you got to lift it up as you do. Also, you don't want to roll it too hard, or else it could potentially stick. But you can see the texture that it's leaving. You could combine a couple texture mats. I've only got one on hand here, so I'm just going to use one, but you know, you could combine two or more. The goal here, I'm going to ask, is to texture the whole thing. All right, so that'll work, that's fine. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to put it on this. So you could either slip and score here, and you'll have a, you know, slightly thinner, slightly taller form, or you could slip and score here. It doesn't really matter. This one might be a bit more stable because it's a little wider. So for this demo, I'm just going to do right here. And remember, you only really have to put slip on one of them, not both. So I've got some slip here. I'll go ahead and put some slip just on the bottom. All right, and then you want your texture on the outside, so gently just sort of turn this over and score the inside. And then it's real simple. You just lift this up, you put it on the bottom, and you bend it around. Now, when you come to the end of the slab here, you've got a couple options. I mean, you can overlap it and then slip and score here if you want a little bit. And I mean, don't overlap it too much, but just a little. Or if you want more of, you know, a hard connection or straight line, you could just sort of match it, cut it. Might have to take a couple cuts. But once it's there, now this would get slipped and scored and attached. And if, you know, you can leave that seam, or if you want to, you can kind of hide it by, you know, just carefully blending. But with the texture, you're going to see sort of a, you know, spot without texture. So you could take the texture mat and put it back on and press some texture in, or you could just cut a little bit of, you know, a little strip here and kind of just place it on there. You know, I'd slip and score. I mean, it's obviously going to look like something, but I mean, if you want to, you can sort of hide that by, you know, putting more all the way around. It's up to you. I mean, really, like I said, just you know, on the other assignments, the point of this assignment is to get you building with a soft slab. All right, so this slab was fresh rolled out. You didn't have to wait for it to dry. You just immediately, you know, started building with it. The other thing I want you to do is, when this is drier, it's really wet right now, so it's kind of flopping around, but don't forget about this here, right? So you're going to clean up the inside with the coil of clay and smoothing it like you did on the hard slab pot, but here you want to do the same thing. A few of the other pots, I've been seeing this gap on the bottom. Just, I mean, now it's really soft, so it's kind of hard to do it without it flopping, but once it stiffens up a little bit, at the very, very least, you want to blend it like you are with the coils. All right, and that's your fourth pot, soft slab. So the 4 pots are pinch pot, coil pot, hard slab pot, and this is the soft slab pot.